So welcome again. I'm Vanessa Graffi. I'm with the Office of Student Services in the Faculty of Education. My team are here with me today, and what we're going to plan to do is go over sort of some housekeeping items, information that me and my team just sent out over a week ago to support you with your year 2 in the Bachelor of Education program. Before we begin, I'm going to do the land acknowledgement. So just take a moment, please. As this meeting is virtual and we are not all gathered in the same space, I recognize that this land acknowledgement might not be for the territory that you are currently on. We ask that if this is the case, you take the responsibility to acknowledge the traditional territory you are on and the current treaty holders. As a member of York University community, I recognize that many Indigenous nations have long-standing relationships with the territories upon which York University campuses are located that precede the establishment of York University. York University acknowledges its presence on the traditional territory of many Indigenous nations. The area known as Tatarontat has been caretaken by the Anishinaabe Nation, the Haudenosaunee Confederacy, and the Huron-Wendat. It is now home to many First Nation, Inuit, and Métis communities. We acknowledge the current treaty holders, the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation. This territory is subject of the Dish with One Spoon Wampum Belt Covenant and an agreement to peaceably share and care for the Great Lakes region. Thank you. So I'm going to do some of my intros and they can do a shout out. We have Dr. Susan Winton, who's our undergraduate program director. Susan, are you there?
Hi, yes, I'm here.
Great, thanks, Susan. And we have Lindsay Lamore, our associate director for experiential education. Hi, Lindsay.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Thank you. And I have some of my team here. I know Jane may not be joining us, but we have Teresa.
I'm here too.
Thank you.
Hi, everybody.
We have Mark.
Mark is here.
Hi, Mark. And I want to welcome Shelby Crawford. Shelby is new to our team. She just joined us over a week ago. And if we were in person at 128 Winters College, or if I was trying to host this in a room on the campus, I would be introducing you in person to Shelby. You want to say hi, Shelby?
Yep, hi, I'm Shelby. You'll probably be seeing me email some of you all when you email OSB. I'm very excited to be here, so thank you.
That's great. Thanks, Shelby. Yeah, so Shelby was the friendly face at the counter and our phones, and she's awesome, and she's already jumping on all those emails coming at us through the OSP email folder. So we're going to spend some time going over the plans for the coming year. I want to remind everyone that it was early last week, that we sent out the year 2 advising packages. This is the plans currently for enrollment for the fall and the winter. It's a long package, so please take your time to read over it. We've tried our best to share what we think you need to know now, but do note, as the university plans how we will be returning to the campus this fall, some things could change. And if they do change, then we will be sending out an email. Now, with an email, as many of you know, lots of our communication to you, be it the York email or your Gmail or your Outlook email, we're finding that it's going into your junk spam mail. So a big favor, please check your emails, both the inbox and the spam junk mail, because there could be important information sitting there. Just like the Zoom link for this town hall may have also gone into your spam junk mail. So we're doing our best to keeping you informed. Me and my team, we're still here working remotely from our homes, but if you need us, reach out to your academic advisor. It was in your advising package. Who is your point person to go to? So just a friendly reminder, if you're primary, junior, or technological education, Teresa Boyle is your advisor. If you are with the Catholic Education Center or Junior Intermediate, Jane Larson is your person. And if you are intermediate senior or the Glendon FSL BED, then it's Mark Powell. If you have a generic question, then certainly reach out to us through osp@edu.yorku.ca, and we will do our best to respond to your question as soon as we can. I also want to send out a reminder that I do the monthly Student Services newsletter. The link is in your advising package. So anything I need or me or the university needs to share with you, I try to post it the first week of the month in the newsletter. Today, we're going to go over a little bit more of the kind of questions we've been getting from our students. And thank you to those who did submit a question through the mock form when you were registering. We're going to be trying to answer those questions today. But my second last little check mark there is we will talk a bit about the math proficiency test, what's going to be planned for the coming year. Friendly reminder, this is not a test set by the Faculty of Education, York University. This is a ministry. This is a provincial test for all students in the province who will be graduating with their Bachelor of Education program who are required to take the math proficiency test. We just got information about 3 weeks ago that they have started up their tests again, but this is nothing that you have to do ASAP. You've got the coming year to plan and then eventually write the math test, maybe next spring. Another friendly reminder at the bottom is that our team, Mark, Teresa, Jane, myself, we're going to be enrolling you in your courses. So just like last year, but you will need to enroll in your EDPR. Those are your practicum courses. So I've got highlighted in red, EDPR 2000 is a requirement for those that are returning, or not returning, but coming into their second year from their first year. So you just finished your first year of the Bachelor of Education program, and you're now moving into your second year. You are required to enroll in EDPR 2000. Those of you who took the year to be back in your undergrad this past year and now rejoining the Bachelor of Education, you should have completed EDPR 2000 in fall winter 2019-20. So you'll just be enrolling in EDPR 3000 and 4000. Our team will plan to enroll you by mid-July. We added the word late there in case there's any sort of changes with the course offering, the way that it's being laid out and planned, because the work the university is doing on bringing students back to the campus. So my next slide, I'm going to sort of bring Susan Winton into this and maybe talk a little bit about what's been discussed through the faculty, but certainly from the university level about returning to the campus, because this was sort of the hot big question in the mock form from many of our students. Thank you, Sue.
Hi, okay, thank you, Vanessa, and hi, everyone. I'm going to do my best to answer these questions, but I have to say that there's no, the answers I give today are preliminary because the information, as we all know, continues to change. And so there's a lot of pieces that have to be taken into account. So what are the plans for returning to campus? Here are the current plans. The current plans are that the university is asking every faculty, or has asked every faculty, to try to offer about some in-person learning for 40 to 50% of their courses in the fall. So what that means is that we have reached out to our instructors. We've got the names of courses that with instructors who are keen to offer some kind of in-person experiences this fall. And then our next step was to make this request to the central room booking services at York. And they, of course, are not on the midst of trying to understand what are the room capacities under the new guidelines for social distancing, which we anticipate at this point would be 1 meter between students. So, and so even though we've made our request for courses. We are still awaiting to find back which courses and so on will actually be offered in person. So I don't have that information right now, but we are shooting for 40 to 50%. But it may not be quite at that level. You will know soon. Like when we know, you'll know. We'll let you know. We're just not there right now. What I can tell you is that so even for the courses that let's say you're like, oh, 3 of my courses or 5 of my courses will have an in-person component in the fall. That doesn't necessarily mean that in-person component will look the same from course to course. So one course director might decide that you will meet face-to-face every second week, whereas a different course director might have something like small group meetings every 3rd week, or somebody else might meet every day. Every week, not every day. So that will be determined by the instructor. So if your course is as coded as a lecture though, and an in-person lecture, then you'll meet weekly. If it's coded as blended, then it could be some partially online and partially face-to-face. So let's see, if the plan is to partially return to campus, this is the second question regarding the option for online. So this program, under every ordinary circumstances, is envisioned as a fully in-person, face-to-face program. So the expectation is that if the university is deemed safe to attend, that is by public health guidelines, because of course public health is going to decide everything. But if public health guidelines say that it's safe to return to campus, given the practices, then the expectation is that students will attend the classes that are scheduled for face-to-face. And I'm not sure then if that second question is really relevant there about if they select only your online classes, because again, that it's not that they'll be like, oh, this section's online and this section's face-to-face. Rather, there's going to be consistency across the sections of the same course. And like I said, if some of your courses are deemed safe to return in person, then that will be the expectation. But this question around placements online or in person, I think I'll hold off and let Lindsay address that question. Can we plan around course schedule? My understanding is that that's the undergraduate office does that. Vanessa, I don't know if you want to just clarify, confirm or challenge my thinking there.
Yeah, no, it's a good one. And I was going to sort of jump into this because it is a question that we get. Can I plan my schedule? So in fact, and if you remember this past year, it's a set schedule, and that's what's going to be planned for your second year as well. If there are accommodations needed or something is happening, you need to check in with your academic advisor. I mean, we can't change a course that is set for Thursdays and say, okay, now you're going to do it on Tuesday. We can't do that. But what your advisor could possibly do is, if we see that there's a couple of sections and one's at 11:30 and another one is at 2:30, and the 11:30 suits you better, there could be a way to support you through that. But as Sue said, the plan is for the course offering is that the courses that are the same will have sort of the similar delivery. You should not be finding that there's one course, let's say EDFE, I don't know, EDFE 1200 that's totally online, remote, and another one, EDFE 1200, that is, lecture face-to-face. That's not what we understand is going to be planned. And I'm going to put myself on mute now because I have a crazy little dog in the background.
Thanks, Vanessa. And I also just wanted to confirm about the winter term, going back to the first question. So what we've been told for the winter is to plan a full return to face-to-face classes in the winter. Now, if you have a course that starts in the fall and carries over the winter, then whatever modality or form of delivery the course begins in the fall, that will continue on into the winter. So if it begins online in the fall, it'll remain online in the winter. But courses that begin in the winter, you should anticipate a return to class face-to-face. Okay, question around why were we encouraged to enroll in electives this summer? One of the reasons that a key reason we encouraged that was because there's going to be greater demands in terms of your practicum this fall. So there's going to be, you'll be in many more practicum days. And so we felt that just thinking about load, a course load, that would probably be advantageous for students who were able to take courses this summer to do so, so that they may have some more breathing room come fall. Because going into placements, there's different demands in placements than for courses, and also because they work at a very short timeline. And when you have to show up for class tomorrow, it means you have to do work tonight when you're planning for practicum. So that was one of the key reasons. And yes, there will be a few electives planned for this year, but not necessarily will you be able to have like your pick of all possible options, but the shorter answer is yes, there are some electives planned for this fall winter. Yeah. So that's it for this term.
Yeah, thanks, Sue. So again, in the advising package that we sent out last week, we did note that the electives will be offered. They're going to be offered in the winter session, not in the fall, because as Sue was just sharing, you're going to spend more time in a classroom placement because of EDPR 2000 last year being moved to this fall. But we don't have the listing yet for the electives for winter. That will come out to you when we know. But we had really hoped that many of you were able to jump into the electives for this summer to get them over and done with. Just one less thing that you need to think about. But if you weren't able to achieve the 2, or for the JI students 1 at elective, then you can plan it for the winter session. Okay, I'm going to move on to the next slide, if I can get there. There we go. So in-school placements, lots of questions about that. And I'm going to sort of bring this over to Lindsay, who can talk about what's going to be planned. Thank you, Lindsay.
Okay, this is so exciting. So here's the update of what we know now. So I'm going to reiterate what Sue had talked about in terms of public health and guidance from the provincial government as well. Prepare for an in-person practicum experience for the fall and winter semesters. Prepare to be flexible with your placement location and prepare to travel for your practicum experiences. We are at the invitation of our host or of our partner school boards, as well as host mentor teachers who are willing to host our teacher candidates. And many of our school board partners actually have centralized placement processes, so we're very dependent on them to confirm our placement requests. So what is practicum going to look like? You have 2 different practicum experiences next year, one in the fall semester and one in the winter semester. So the fall semester experience will include both EDPR 2000 as well as EDPR 3000. You will be going in person to your school practicum 3 days a week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then you will have a 2-week block beginning December 6th right through to December 17th. And when we say block, it means you'll be going every day to your school practicum experience. EDPR 2000 will be the first 6 weeks of your fall semester, and your practicum in the fall semester will begin on September 20th. Now, our concurrent students that are coming back from stop out who have already completed their EDPR 2000, your practicum start date is actually November 3rd. Again, you will pick up with our other students going 3 days a week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and you too will have a 2-week block in December, December 6th to the 17th, that you will be going in your practicum every day for those 2 weeks. For the winter semester, that'll be your EDPR 4000 experience. You can expect to go into your school practicum 2 days a week, so Monday and Tuesday, from January through to April, when you are participating in your coursework. And then after your coursework is complete, you will then complete a 5-week block where you will be going into your school practicum every day for those 5 weeks. A couple other things to draw your attention to. Once we have confirmed placements, they will show up on your PIMS. So we ask you to check PIMS, and at the earliest, check it that last week in August. As we confirm placements, we will start posting the end of August. Please, if you don't see a confirmed placement, do not worry. We are working on it for you. And our goal is to ensure that everyone sees a confirmed placement by the start date of September 20th. Okay, so if you don't see it confirmed in August, don't worry. As long as you will see it before your start date on September 20th. I know in your advising package, Vanessa provided information about the VSS, especially if you are living in Toronto. I would encourage you to, there's a unique process there. So I encourage you to start that process for Toronto Police Services within our faculty. And then last but not least, in terms of an overview, if you are registered with Student Accessibility Services and you think that you might require accommodations for your practicum experience, sometimes the accommodations that you get in your coursework can't necessarily transfer over to your practicum experiences. So I would strongly encourage you to contact your counselor and myself, and we will arrange a meeting to facilitate the accommodations that you are required, that are required for your success in practicum. And the earlier you do that, the better, so that we have all of that in place for the start of your practicum in September. Now, there were a couple questions here that I know in preparation for school placement. Are there any health and safety modules or paperwork that needs to be submitted? You will find out all of that information at your orientation, which is tentatively booked September 7th or 8th. So block that time off. So all health and safety requirements, we have to follow university health and safety requirements as well as board policies and procedures as it relates to health and safety. So yes, there will be documentation that you will have to complete. And that information will be provided to you for you at your orientation sessions. What COVID safety protocols are being implemented for in-school placements? So teachers are required to wear PPE, or they were this academic year. We're still awaiting to hear what the health and safety requirements are at the board level and at the school level for next academic year. And again, we will provide that information as soon as we receive it for you. Do we need a COVID vaccination to be in a school placement? Again, that's an unknown. Again, boards are working through policies and procedures, and as soon as we have that information, we will pass it on to our student body. Are there going to be remote opportunities for in-school placement for fall, or do we have to be in-person class? So OCT actually requires us to ensure that you have in-person as well, or sorry, a blend. If you have a virtual, you have to also have an in-person practicum experience. Currently, we are planning for in-person practicum experiences for the fall semester. Now, that being said, if schools are pivoting to remote, for example, our schools are currently in a lockdown, and we had students who were in-person placements that had to pivot to the virtual mode, then our students would also have to pivot to virtual in those cases based on health and safety recommendations. What is the maximum distance to our in-school placements? We generally recommend that you prepare for 90 minutes of travel, and that's a general recommendation. I know if I go only 20 kilometers in Toronto, it could take me an hour and a half to 2 hours. So I hate giving timelines and restrictions because it can vary so much with traffic. But generally speaking, it's a 90-minute commute time that you should be preparing for. Will there be accommodations in school placements closer to my home if we need to take public transportation? For the centralized placements, we are dependent on those school boards confirming our placements. So we don't actually have a say in supporting our students to match them up with a placement that's really close to their home. We do the best we can to place you in your preferred placement zones. And those zones, as you know, on the map are actually quite large, but that is our goal, is to place you in one of your preferred placement zones. If the school boards decide to stay closed again this upcoming fall, how would we send our police record checks to them in order to receive a practicum location site? So the school boards have actually, I'm going to use that word again, pivoted to virtual submitting VSS via virtual means. So for example, if you are placed with TDSB, you would be able to submit your police reference check to the board virtually. I'm not sure if I think I covered all of those questions. I'm sure there are more, but I'll save it for the round of questions.
That would be great. Thank you so much, Lindsay. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to go into our next slide, and then we'll be able to open it up to questions. And what we can try to do with questions at the end is we can raise the hand, and then I'll try to my best to monitor who's first, second, and third. If we have to jump into the chats, we will, but best if we can do hands up, it's sometimes easier. All right, so the math proficiency test, I'm sure you've got this sort of buzzing in your brain and going, oh my goodness, when do I do it? How do I do it? I'm hearing more and more about this. So yes, the math proficiency test is a requirement. It's a requirement for when you become a certified teacher within the province. Now, like I said earlier, this is not a test that we, the Faculty of Education, sort of came up with and said, okay, you have to do it. It is a test that was administered by the ministry well over a year and a bit ago. I will be honest, there's probably a lot of catch up happening right now. And when I say catch up, we had our graduates last spring in the Bachelor of Education program who came right at graduation time with, COVID. And the math proficiency test was not being offered. And it just started up the end of this April. So I know that students in the province who graduated last June, this past fall, wherever, whatever university, are now trying to get themselves back in to complete the test. And I think they have a deadline around the end of August. But for you, students heading into your second year, you've got time. This is not something you need to do tomorrow. It's not even something you have to do by November or December, but the timing is to plan it by the end of next spring. Because when we are nominating you to the Ontario College of Teachers, and again, make sure you keep on the newsletter because we're going to tell you in the fall how to start planning your membership to OCT. You will want to have, hopefully, your math proficiency test results pass ready to post to OCT by next spring. So the math proficiency test, there is the website, it's in your advising package, but it is managed by the Ministry of Education. They've got an update, and you'll see it when you log in over on the right-hand side. So read the information there. What I really want to point out to you is that the Faculty of Education Professional Learning, that's the department that runs professional development courses for certified teachers. They created a math hub for our students, and they did this over a year ago. Students who are going into their second year, like all of you in the BED, should go and register. It's free. So register with the Math Hub. There are a lot of online tools. There are examples. There are ways that you can learn how to build your math proficiency, your strategies. And so they really wanted me to tell you, please go and get yourself registered with the Math Proficiency Resource Hub. There is also the Faculty of Education Student Association, FISA, and they were a participant well over a year ago to sort of support our students. We'll see what their plans are come the fall, winter, and if they're going to be running maybe some Zoom sessions where students are coming together in a Zoom and talking about some math strategies. But again, can't say it enough, please go and register and start maybe working on your skills. The math proficiency test is only up to grade 9. Okay, so this is not grade 10, 11, 12 math tests that you're going to be doing. So no calculus functions, but it's from the earlier years. I think it's grade 3, grade 2, grade 3, up to grade 9. And every graduating BED student will be expected to do the math proficiency test. Okay, once you do pass it, there will be, again, through the ministry site where you put in your OCT membership number, and then the testing organization, whoever it's doing it, I think it's a college that's doing it now, will then send your math proficiency test to the Ontario College of Teachers, which is where you will be a member when you graduate from our program. So my last slide before we go into questions, convocation. I'm already starting to get questions. What do I do? How do I graduate next spring? What about my OCT? So in the newsletter, for sure in the fall, I'm going to start updating everybody. You have several steps that you have to do. First will be, you'll need to log into or visit the Ontario College of Teachers about how to be a member. They've got a lovely video that you can watch. And then it will guide you to apply for your membership. This is a temporary membership and you'll get a 6-digit number. Once you have your 6-digit number, then you will come back to York, and we have love those mock forms. We have a mock form sitting on our education website. It's under current students, which is what you are. And you just go into the mock form and you give your name, your student number, your 6-digit OCT registration number, and you tell us if you're in the concurrent BED model or the consecutive BED model. And it's going to sit there on the mock form. And then come next spring, our team, what we do on behalf of you, the Faculty of Education, is we nominate you to the Ontario College of Teachers once your Bachelor of Education program has been audited by the Registrar's Office. It's usually around mid-May. And if you're in the concurrent BED model, the Registrar's Office is also auditing your undergraduate degree. And if both of them are in the clear, thumbs up, then we nominate you to the Ontario College of Teachers. Students, all students are required to order their own transcript. And that, again, will be in the newsletter how you do it. Okay, so time will come when we nominate you, not until next May, but starting this fall, you'll want to maybe start the process of getting your membership with OCT and start going forward from there. My last little note here, because I was getting questions, do we have any graduating awards? We do have graduating awards the next spring. Faculty members will nominate students for the awards, but also in the newsletter, come this fall, we have continuing student awards. So please consider, maybe apply for one. You start with Student Financial Profile, the York website, sort of the system that you log in with your information. And then you can apply for a number of our awards. Again, I will have it all posted in the newsletter by the end of the summer about these continuing awards, and then next winter, spring, about the graduating awards. And another question that I'm getting a lot of right now, because it is graduating time for our current students, is are our BED, Bachelor of Education students, on a dean's list? So there is not a formal dean list for the Bachelor of Education because it is a 2-year program. As well, the passing grade is a C+ or better. So there is not a dean's list for graduating, but there will be if you're in the concurrent model and you're graduating with your undergraduate degree, then there is a dean's list with your home faculty for that. So I just wanted to share that with you because there's a lot of questions coming in right now to OSP about it. Okay, so let's sort of go into raising hands if you have any questions, and we will do our best to support your question. Okay, I see Allegra.
Yeah, sorry. I was unclear because when the enrollment packages were sent, there was like a little chart that kind of mapped out our weekly schedule.
Mhm.
And so I'm in the concurrent program, so I don't have to complete my EDPR 2000.
That's correct.
Yeah, so the chart said that we had placement Monday, Tuesday, and then we were off Wednesdays, and then we had class Wednesday, Thursday. But then now I recall Lindsay said we don't have any placement at all until November. And when it's then, we do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday placement. So we don't have Wednesdays off, and it's only half of the semester.
So I'll bring Lindsay into it. So the first one is because you've already completed EDPR 2000, it's correct. You're not going to be jumping into the practicum for the first half of the fall. You're going to be jumping into your EDPR 3000, which will be planned in the last half of the fall session. Okay.
Yeah.
And then
And
Lindsay, the date again, is it Monday?
it's November 3rd.
November 3rd.
It's November 3rd. So think as soon as Halloween's over, you're going into practicum the next week. November 3rd is your start date, and you'll be going in Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then you will be having a 2-week block, December 6th to the 17th.
Okay.
So
So
when
going
we-
back, Allegra, you're saying that the schedule that we shared is showing that you have Wednesday off. Is that right?
yeah.
Okay.
And then it doesn't, and then both of the schedules for the fall and the winter don't show anything about the block. So maybe that should be included.
Yeah, I
there's
think
just no-
it was a wording. So we don't, oh, I know what I need to share with all of you too. So remember in the advising package, we have the Google calendars. Remember the Google calendars where on our Faculty of Education website, you will log in as, for this group, PJ Year 2 or JI Year 2. And the Associate Dean's Office actually starts to plug in your courses that you're enrolled in and which day of the week they're going to be offered. Because we can't do it in an advising package because it would be like 25 pages. But we have the Google Calendar where you'll be able to see what the month of September looks like, what October looks like, what November looks like, the course that you're enrolled in what section. It will be laid out clearly on that because the, what is it, Plot My Schedule, you know, the York University Plot My Schedule Monday to Friday doesn't always work with our Faculty of Education courses because we have different session codes that don't fit into it. So I'm going to go back to like your question about a Wednesday showing that you have it off, but in fact, you'll be in an in-school placement. We'll revisit the package and double check on that. Okay, I see another hands up. Aisha?
Hi, yes. So my question is similar to Allegra's. I just wanted to clarify something about the practicum days. So I'm also in concurrent. Would that mean that until November 3rd, so basically when school starts after the Labor Day long weekend until November 3rd, does that mean concurrent students don't have any classes or placements on the days that are set out for like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday? Or are we expected to do like or do we have any in-person classes or anything like that going on during that time before November 3rd?
Yeah, I can jump in. So there is one course that the students who are returning back from their undergraduate program will be taking, which is, and my team can remind me, EDFE 3100. And I believe the EDFE 3100 could be planned in that first month and a bit. My team were the ones that worked on the package. So remind me if that could be the days where they're not in the practicum for the first 6 weeks.
Then on the enrollment package, it says we have 3 courses in first semester. We have EDFE 3200, EDFE 3100, and then our teachable subject, like the 4000.
Yeah,
But those are both scheduled for Thursday and Friday. So I think she was wondering, do we not have anything on Monday to Wednesday?
Yeah, and I have to
share
check
that
again,
one.
and I'm sorry if my team aren't sort of jumping in right now because they were working on the schedule with the Associate Dean's Office and how it was being mounted. But we will all come back and check.
Sorry, Vanessa, I'm trying to pull it up and I'll get back to you to that question.
Okay, thanks so much, Jane.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
I mean, I I have to double check. The team have to check and see what was planned by the Associate Dean's Office for that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday for your first 6 weeks. It could be the 3,100 because the 3,100 was taken by the consecutive students who just finished their first year and now coming immediately into their second year. They took the 3,100 to replace EDPR 2000. But the students that are returning from their undergraduate, you have to take that one. You don't have that one under your belt yet. So Jane's gonna have a little look and see what it says, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thanks so much.
No problem.
And I can just jump in there too. The
Thanks, Lindsay.
practicum facilitators may meet with them, most likely will meet with them during that time from September before you start your practicum in early November to ensure you're set up for success as well. So there could be the occasional monthly meeting in there as well with practicum on the Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Next question, Diana.
Hi, I'm in the consecutive program and I was wondering because last year we started the EDPR 2000. So then we had some documentation or like modules that we had to do. So I was wondering if those like carry on to the following year or like will we have to do it again? Like it's not a big deal, but I was just wondering.
Lindsay, do you want to
I
speak?
think they're referring to ELSE.
Yeah.
I think you're referring to your ELSE 1, 2, and 3. So ELSE 1 is associated with your EDPR 2000 experience. ELSE 2 is associated with your EDPR 3000 experience, and ELSE 3 is associated with your EDPR 4000 experience. My understanding is that what you completed last year will still be there when you sign in this year. That's what I was told with IT services. And I am hoping that that is correct. If not, yes, you will be required to complete ELSE 1, 2, and 3. But ELSE 1 was associated with your EDPR 2000 experience that you would have started last year.
Right. Okay. It's no problem, but I was just curious. Thank you.
I'm sorry if it isn't safe, but I was told that it is.
Okay. Thanks.
Thanks. I'm going to take a quick, I see a chat question from one of our Glendon FSL BED students. And the question from Lena was, if I've taken my math elective in the summer, and it's only one, which is correct. So Glendon FSL BED students only take one ed elective, and it is the math one. So if you've got it done over the summer, you're good to go. You do not need to complete any more ed electives. Thank you. Next question from Natalie.
Hi, so I actually had, I think, 2 questions. Just a quick one. I know because with everything that happened with COVID, like we weren't able to get student cards, most of us. And I was wondering if we have in-person classes, will we need those for when we go in?
No, it's a good question. No, you don't need your, no cards to come into the classroom. Yeah, good question.
Okay, perfect. And also, I was just wondering, I know on the advising package, it said that no later than August 1st to get your criminal background check. Is there, how early am I able to get it though? I think last year there might've been a date, but I didn't see it in the package this year.
We push a deadline date versus the earliest. So you could start working on it now. We just want to make sure that you have the police record check for the full year, because as Lindsay was sharing, your block placement will finish off next spring, maybe around the beginning of May. So you just want to ensure that the police record check is good right up until, let's say, the end of next May.
Okay, so I can get that this summer. Perfect. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Vanessa?
Yeah, go ahead, Teresa.
Oh, sorry to interrupt. I was also looking at the packages. Sorry, I'm eating grapes while we're on this, so I don't want to show my face. Sorry. But I just want to, can I ask the question again? Because I'm looking at the packages I sent out, like mine specific, Tech Ed and PJ, and it does show that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you do have EDPR 3000. So I'm confused on the question, that was asked, unless I'm.
Thank you, Teresa. I'm trying to look at it the same way too. I don't understand what.
Yeah, I don't, because it does the two little charts, whether you did
Yeah.
EDPR 2000 or not, it does show that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you will be in the EDPR 3000 practicum. So can I get a little bit more verification or understanding of the question that was asked?
Thank you,
prior?
Teresa.
Yeah,
Okay,
I think,
Jane.
and that may have cleared it up. It sounded like they thought that the Wednesday was a free day, may have been an off day. But it's not that case for the fall. The package is showing Monday, Tuesday,
It
Wednesday.
does. And there's actually a couple of students actually say my copy also said there's placement those 3 days. So I don't know. I don't know what to say
okay.
to that. Sorry.
Just interject quickly. I'm in the IS cohort, and
Okay.
a few of my other friends are as well, and we all got the IS package that specifically says Wednesday no classes, and then Monday, Tuesday it says EDPR 3000.
Okay. All right. So then we're gonna have to check the IS package. Okay.
Yeah.
So-
I'm guessing that's a Mark question.
And here's Mark.
Hi,
Here's
Mark.
Mark.
Hi. So I'd left the Monday and the Tuesday for the EDPR 3000 and the Monday and Tuesday in the winter term for EDPR 4000 has traditionally been the case. So those candidates who had already completed EDPR 2000 would see that they have EDFE 3100 on the Friday afternoons, and they would not have a Wednesday EDPR 2000 commitment because they'd already completed EDPR 2000.
Okay. But for the
that makes
consecutive
sense.
students, they will
For the
be jumping
consecutive
in.
students.
Okay. Well, let's go with that. If we need to come back to you, you're more than welcome to email Mark. We can have a little visit with the packages. But there could be changes between now and August too. You never know.
And then there's that, yeah.
And then there's that too. Yes. All right. I'm going to go on with another question for Joey Shapiro.
Hi,
Hey, how are you?
good. How are you?
Good, thank you.
So my question is, you said we have to have a certain amount of in-person hours to get our license, right? So if we transition into having to do practicum online, how is that going to work? Is that going to push us further from graduation or further from getting our license? Or like, how does that work?
Lindsay, do you want to join?
We are planning for our students with an in-person practicum experience. Unless you require specific accommodations and a request for virtual, our students will participate with an in-person practicum experience, both fall and the winter semesters. I don't know if that answers your question, or if you want to have a conversation and email me specific to what you're thinking.
No, I want to do it in person. I'm just wondering if there's like a 16th wave and everything has to shut down again and we have to do it online, what we're gonna do because I want to do it in person.
Fair enough. I get that. We'll cross our fingers that we don't have a 16th wave, but our faculty would work with our students, and we advocate for our students in those situations. Okay, so I wouldn't worry about that, but plan for an in-person practicum experience.
Okay, thank you. Next hand up, I see Nikki.
Hi, I just wrote my message in the chat, but I was just wondering some clarity for the VSS forms and the process with that given COVID.
So with the VSS form, so if you're a Toronto resident,
yes,
with a postal code M, it is pretty much done all online on our side. It's in the, again, I keep saying it's in the advising package, like a page and a half of what you need to do for postal code M. And you will need to upload your identification, and then the practicum office confirms that you are enrolled, registered with the Faculty of Education at York. And through that, you will then get a form attached, I believe. Lindsay can always jump in. You'll get this form that you will then download, and then you send into the police service that looks after it in the Toronto area. And like Lindsay, you may know, are they mailing it in? I don't think they're walking in with the form. It's a
No,
mail.
all police services are closed, so they have to mail it in with a certified check or money order. Yeah.
Other than when we did the original form on your end where we send a picture of proving our address and who we are, is there any other stage where we have to show them our ID, or is that
Not
like
for
on file?
Yeah, not for Toronto Police Services.
Okay, that's what I was wondering. Thank you for
But
clarifying that.
every jurisdiction is different.
Of
So make sure that you check each police services and what their requirements are.
Okay, thank you. Yes, I'm with Toronto, so that helps me, but thank you.
Okay, great, thank you. Next question is from Sarah.
Hi.
Hi, Sarah.
So I have a question. So if you have a medical condition and you can't wear masks for like a long period of time, how would that look like in like your classes or your placement?
I can jump. Yeah, I can jump in there if accommodations are required. If you could contact me, and then we would set up a meeting with Student Accessibility Services and myself and you, and we can discuss those accommodations and what it would look like in your specific circumstance, and deal with those on a case-by-case basis.
Thank you.
No problem. Thank you. Thanks,
Lindsay.
Lindsay, can I ask you a question? Sorry, Vanessa, to interrupt. It's just, it was way farther up. I don't want it to get lost in the plethora of questions we're getting. From Natalie, I don't know if it was asked or responded to already, but it says, when will the dates for when we have to complete else modules 1, 2, and 3 be available by? And how will we be told these due dates?
Yeah, so they will, during orientation, all of those dates will be provided for our students. So on September 7th or 8th, when you meet with your practicum facilitator, and they are associated with each of the practicum experiences. So there will be 3 different due dates for the 3 different modules.
Thank you, Lindsay.
All right,
welcome.
Thank you. I think I am to Darren. Darren?
Hi, yeah, I just wanted to clarify really quickly from Deanna's question. The else modules for students that were in EDPR 2000 that were unable to complete it because of COVID, we were not expected to have completed those, correct? Because the course was canceled, because I did not complete the first else module.
Correct, you are correct.
Okay, that's it, thanks.
Yeah, it's just some students had completed it or partially completed it and then weren't enrolled anymore in EDPR 2000. So we're hoping that the work that they've already completed is still in the system. Okay. But if you haven't completed it yet, do not worry. You will have plenty of time to complete it in the fall.
Okay, thank you. I've taken the slides off, if that's okay. It's better for my eyes to see things right now. All right, back to another hands up. Sienna?
Hi, yes, thank you. I just have a couple questions if you guys can answer. My first one being, I've already received my police background check back in April as I already needed it for a different job. I was just wondering, can this be accepted for September, or will we be needing to get it a month before we start? Because I believe sometimes there's a limit of when you get a police background check.
It should be fine for your fall semester placement, but some school boards require it to be still valid within 6 months. So for your winter semester placement, you would probably have to get a new one.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. And as well as, I was curious, you guys mentioned that if you already had received the 6-digit college application number, which form are we to submit this to?
Yeah, it's a link actually that I have on the Faculty of Education website. So go to the Faculty of Ed website, go to current student, that's what you all are. Then when you go to current student, you will see it's under convocation, graduation convocation as a link. And then there it tells you how to complete the mock form, and that's where you're going to provide your 6-digit OCT number.
Perfect, thank you. And just one last thing, sorry about that. For second year students, we are not starting in August again for meetings as we did in first year, right? We are just starting in September?
That's correct.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Next hand up, I see Iqbal.
Yep, hi.
Hi.
I have kind of a complicated question. I don't know if someone can answer it, but I remember I'm in the concurrent program, which was 2 years ago, and I remember they encouraged us to start our OCT application so we just have a number, but I remember they said it was only good for 2 years. So does that mean this term when we start, if we already have that same OCT number, will it still be good for this final year?
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, the OCT registration number is just your original registration with the College of Teachers. And that is a temporary number that is yours now. And that number is what's going to be shared with our office through that current student site. And thank you to the student who posted the link. So you can go in and pop it in there now. But we're not going to send your membership to the Ontario College of Teachers until next spring when you've graduated.
Okay, I just thought it would the application, like your application would get deleted if it wasn't finished within the 2-year process.
Don't think so. I'm going to ask, did you pay for it? If you paid
No,
for it,
no.
Oh, you didn't. Okay.
No.
You know what? Go back and look at the OCT website. I think you probably, you do need to pay. You have to pay for your initial membership. And then that 6-digit number is now yours until you retire.
It might just be best to start a new application.
Go and have a little look. Yeah.
Yeah, I will. Thank you.
And actually, Lindsay, can I ask you a question? I'm trying to remember from last week's town hall. Do we bring OCT back for this fall session, an information session or not?
So on our orientation day, the 7th or the 8th, the OCT participates in that morning session.
All right, there you go. I'm sure they'll be reminding students about membership too.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. Amir?
Yeah, hi there. Sorry, I think you actually just answered my question, but it is about that OCT number there. Because we were encouraged last year, I'm in the consecutive education program, just finished the first year. We were encouraged by the OCT to start the process. So that OCT applicant number is the same number that is going to be our final number after we pay for everything and whatnot. And then like when we're doing the math proficiency test, that's the number we also provide them. Is that correct?
That's it. That's your identifying number now. That's correct.
Okay. Fantastic. Thank you so much.
You'll retire with it.
Sounds like a plan.
Okay. Thank you. Next hand up is Mike. Hi, Mike.
Hi, yeah, just a quick question. You said we need to enroll in EDPR 2000, 3000, 4000. When will we be able to enroll in those?
Yeah, the magic date that we've given you all is June 17th at 8 a.m.
Perfect, thank you.
But this isn't like trying to enroll in your summer electives. So just try to enroll in those 3, or for the students returning from their undergrad, the 2, within a few days of the 17th, because then it's sort of it's the go for the team to start planning the rest of your courses.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you, Mike. All right, and I see Allegra Iozo, your hand up.
Yeah, sorry, I left. I guess my question is kind of answered because Iqbal kind of explained. I was told, yeah, because I'm in the concurrent program too, and I was told to register with OCT in my first year of ed. But yeah, we didn't pay for anything. It was just like it's just a registration number. So I was gonna say, should I fill out that mock form now? But maybe I should just wait until September with the OCT and maybe ask them if my number is gonna stay the same.
I think that's a good idea. I think so. And you know what? OCT, yeah, let's just, if you want, just work it out when you hear from them. That first week of September, as Lindsay shared. And then we've got lots of time, right? It's not like we need it now. We'll want that number next April for sure. But you do have time to sort of figure out, do I go through the whole process again or not?
If we are, sorry, if we are confirmed with that number though in September, could I just fill out the mock form then so that I get it over with?
Yeah, you're more than
Nice.
welcome to. Yes.
And will that meeting in September be virtual, I'm assuming, the orientation?
That is correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a lot of you. we can't do this in 25 groups times what, 30 groups? So 25 students per 30. No. So you do expect a lot of the orientation that first week of September. Zoom time, right? Yeah. Okay.
Sorry, I just found out some more information from the OCT site, maybe to answer her question. It does say your application is valid for only 2 years, and if you don't complete it by the 2 years, you'll have to reapply and get a new OCT number.
Okay, thank you for that. So it should be fine for the consecutive students who are immediately moving into their second year. But those of you who are in the concurrent model, they're returning from your undergraduate program, unless you complete the full membership now, which is the pay, then you'll have to start all over again, it sounds like. All right, we've got another hand up. Sarika?
Hi, sorry, I have 2 questions. I'm not sure if you know anything about this, but I just heard that there may be a strike happening soon. And I'm not sure if like that would affect us going into the fall terminal because the last one was like 6 or 7 months.
Yeah,
Do you happen to know anything about that by any chance? That's my first question.
Okay, it's a good question. I do not know. As an employee of York University, I'm sure there is a time where the different teaching groups are renegotiating, but I don't have any information unless Sue Winton has anything that she wants to share.
I have no news. I just know that there are a couple of unions, and doing their bargaining right now under the normal timeline, but I certainly haven't heard of any plans for a strike.
Okay, thanks, Sue.
Okay, and sorry, my second question was, I came a bit after I had another class right before this. So we have to enroll in the Practicum courses and some other ones, or are y'all doing the other ones for us?
Good question. Yeah, so you're just going to enroll in your EDPR practicum. So EDPR 2000, 3000, 4000.
Okay.
If you did EDPR 2000, so I don't know if you're concurrent or consecutive, but if you've already done the 2000, you're just doing 3000 and 4000. And then the team are going to look after the rest of your enrollment for you.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And sorry, where can I find the recording of this call after?
I'm going to send it. Yeah, because there's a lot of students that couldn't join. So I'm just going to be doing a big email blast, and check your junk mail because it could be sitting here.
Thank you.
That's where all my emails are going to you guys these days, junk spam mail. All right. To the team, any questions I can sort of support through the chat, or you guys are all on it, looks like.
Can I ask another question?
Oh yeah, I'm sorry, Deanna. Go ahead.
It's okay. I was wondering because you said we don't need our student card to go back to York for in-person classes, but I know we were supposed to have them for in-school practicums. So do we need our student card?
Lindsay, have you heard of any?
Yeah, no, schools have been adjusting due to the pandemic and due to our students not being able to get a student card. Some schools have, most of the schools I know have adjusted, and they just do sign-ins at the front door. So at each local school, they might have a system to identify you as a teacher candidate within that school community.
Okay, thanks.
No problem.
Hi, Vanessa. Can I just jump in and throw some questions out from the chat?
Yes, please.
Thanks. Okay. There's a question from Brittany. She's saying about the VSS. Should she go ahead and submit it on her own to the school board, or will we eventually be getting direction from York as to what to do with it? So you hang on to those police record checks. You keep those on you. And if you are asked for copies from your schools, then you can provide a copy, but you always hang on to the original. We don't need to see it at York.
Correct. And each board has a specific process. And until we confirm your actual school placement, you don't know what board you're necessarily associated with for your practicum experience. So yes, hold on to it until your placement is confirmed, please.
Thank you. I can see a question from Emily, and this is for you too, Lindsay. So it's EDPR 3000 and EDPR 4000. Will they be in different schools and grades? So EDPR 3000, which will be in the fall, will be at a school and a certain grade or grades, maybe 2-3 split. And then EDPR 4000, also in a different school and a different grade.
That's our goal. So it'll definitely be a different grade or different division. For example, if you're in, PJ, we need to require that in the fall semester you're in, a primary grade, and then if you also need a junior grade. So for the fall, you might be in a primary, and winter you might be in junior. With the centralized board placements, we can't guarantee that you will be in a different school community, but we definitely try. And you will definitely be in a different grade.
Thank you, Lindsay. I see another hand up from Amir. Hi, Amir.
Hi again. So my question actually has to do with the VSS as well. Last year, I know through the community practicum placement system, we had the letter from, I think it was Diane Vetter, that we could use to get like the discounted rate for vulnerable sector checks. I don't know if that, like, do you guys know, is our police services, have they kind of pivoted as well where they're not necessarily requiring that letter anymore? Or if they are, how would we get access to that?
So certain police departments are still requiring. So if you're in more rural areas with OPP, they will require the letter. Just send us an email to vss@edu.yorku.ca, and we can put that email in the chat, and we can provide you that letter.
Thanks,
Fantastic.
Lindsay.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
no problem.
And again, in the I can't say it enough, in the advising package, do take your time to read. There is a lot in there, but anything to deal with police services, questions, any kind of confusion, reaching out to VSS at edu.yorku.ca, and they will do their best to support you with an answer.
There's a question in the chat from Mike. He's asked, what about 2,000 and 3,000 for us consecutive students? Will we be at one place for the whole fall? Lindsay, do you want to answer that?
Correct. You will have a placement with one mentor teacher for the fall semester, and then a different placement for the winter semester, even though the consecutive students are completing both EdPR 2000 and 3000 in that fall semester. It is with the same mentor teacher.
Okay, not too much juggling around, which is good.
No.
Okay, thank you. I'm just gonna go back to some hands up. Natalie Posala.
Hi, yeah, sorry. So I just had two quick questions. Just to check, so will there be electives available to enroll in on June 17th?
We hope there will be at some point. We're just sort of working with the Associate Dean's office to see which ones are going to be planned. So maybe, what an answer, right? Maybe. But if not, we will reach out to you once we know that they're ready to go and which ones are available and hopefully how they're going to be planned and so on. So I can't promise they'll be ready for June 17th.
Okay, perfect. And also just a last question. I think I remember the advising package briefly mentioned it, but I was wondering about the AQ courses, when we will be getting information and like how, like will it be through email or on how that will work? Like I'm not sure when we enroll and things like that.
Yeah, good question. So AQ, for those of you that don't know, those are additional qualification. Those are course offerings for when you are a certified teacher. So students can generally start jumping in and looking at AQs after next spring, after you graduated. Sometimes an AQ or a basic qualification will require, a number of years of teaching. So there's a variety of what you can plan, but it is offered by Professional Learning. Professional Learning will reach out to me and the team and probably look for your email so they can run some information sessions this fall and winter and start helping you to understand how you can plan future courses. Maybe 10 years you want to be principal. Well, you're going to do it through professional learning departments. So they will find you because they're going to want to start telling you more about what they can offer. I also, again, in the newsletter, come late fall, I think it is, I get information from Professional Learning where our soon-to-be grads can take, it's called New Grad AQ. And it means that come May, just as you're finishing your last days of your practicum, you could take an AQ with Professional Learning. I think there's 2 of them. So one is French as a Second Language, Part 1. And the other one is usually was it special education, working with students with special IEP needs. And there's another one that I put in the newsletter. So those of you who wish to teach in the Catholic school boards, Toronto, Peel, Halton, wherever you go after you graduate, there is a teaching religious education in the Catholic schools that you should try to plan this fall or winter. And it's also offered through Professional Learning. It's like 2 weeks in the evening. I think it's completely online now, but you should have that AQ or that course under your belt before you start getting interviewed by the boards. And the boards will, and again, FISA, the Faculty of Education Students Association, and the York Career Services will start inviting and seeing school boards wanting to maybe meet with students, information sessions. Those could start as early as next March. Okay, so my team will try to get as much information out to you in the fall in our newsletter about how the boards are going to be trying to reach out to you and start an interview process or an application and so on. Okay, and we have a question, hand up from Sienna.
Hi, yes, Vanessa. I was just curious about what you just mentioned. I did take a certificate course last summer called Teaching in Catholic Schools. Is this the course that you're referring to, or is this a separate AQ course?
No, that must be it. That'd be the
Perfect.
same one.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, how are we doing with the chats? It's hard for me to see them.
I think Natalie's had her hand up for a very long time. Oh, she put it down. Never mind.
I'm like, wait, I didn't see a hand up from Natalie. Okay, you.
Oh, no, thank you. You guys answered my question.
Okay, good. I have to joke. My computer, I'm no kidding. It's the size of a toaster. It's so tiny.
Here's Nikki and Sienna. So Nikki is the next one with her hand up.
Nikki. Okay.
I'll call out the hands up for you, Vanessa. My screen's big.
Okay, that would be great. Thank you.
Okay. So Nikki.
Hi, Nikki. Okay, Nikki, if you can't, you can welcome to type it in. Anything from the chats that we should try and cover, or you guys have been sort of looking after it? So Rashida, the recording available for the session, I will be sending it. Today's what, Wednesday? I need to probably just get it all organized and cleaned up. Friday, my goal is Friday to send out the recordings to all our BED students going into year 2. Okay, any other questions?
Vanessa?
Go ahead, Teresa.
Hi, from Jordan. I mean, there's a lot of AQ inquiries going on right now.
Yeah.
So Jordan's asking, in relation to professional learning courses, do 3-part AQ or ABQ courses provide you with the ability to teach another subject outside of your teachable subject?
Yes. Yes, so what the professional learning departments, not just York's Faculty of Education, but I'm going to start throwing out our competitors, my colleagues, Queens, Trent, Brock, they all have professional learning departments where they offer courses, professional development for certified teachers in this province. So after you finish your Bachelor of Education program next spring, you or other students that are here with us today may decide that you want to now, maybe your primary junior, and now you want to get your intermediate, your I, because you want to plan to start to teach the next age group up. That kind of certification course would be offered through professional learning. But as I said, sometimes there are minimum requirements before you can do an AQ or a basic qualification. It could be a number of years of teaching. Sometimes it's courses within a university degree. So all of that will be shared with you by the professional learning team. Like I said, that will start to reach out to you in the fall and winter and start getting you thinking about your next step, your next journey as a teacher. So lots of movement as a teacher. You're not just finishing PJ or IS and JI and that's it. You're done for 30 years. There is a lot of opportunities for you to grow, get more teachables under your belt, become a specialist in something. And as I said earlier, maybe 10 years, 12 years from now, maybe you'll be the vice principal or the principal somewhere. It is that department, professional learning, that offers the courses and the curriculum.
Vanessa, there's a hand up from Iqbal.
Thank you.
Hi there.
Hi.
Someone asked this in the chat. I don't know if it was answered, but can concurrent students apply to graduate now, or do we have to wait at the end and do both at the same time?
Good question. So now there was a change just recently. If you are finished up your undergraduate program by this summer or even next fall, you can, when the doors open, because there's a timing when you apply for, we'll call it graduation, for your undergrad to be confirmed. So you can now apply for your undergraduate degree to be conferred, program completed, whatever the registrar's office says, when you're done. So you don't have to wait until next June to have both of them now completed at the same time. You can do it early.
Oh, that's amazing.
I know.
Thank you.
Big changes. Yes.
Okay, and the other hand is Nikki's, but she is not there, I don't think. Nikki? I sent
yes,
her in.
I
Oh, there
already
you are.
asked. I wasn't sure how to put it down. Sorry.
That's okay. Thanks, Nikki.
Thank you.
Okay, so we're coming up to about 20 after 2. If all is good, we can take in some more questions, but we'll probably need to end by about 2:30. So any other questions, please share. Sarah, I see your hand up.
Hi, so I'm in the concurrent program, and last time for the police checks, we received a form from York, like when we went to like our orientation in person, to get to like fill out and give to like the Toronto police. So how do we get that form this time from you guys?
So, because Sarah, you're a resident of Toronto, postal code M, correct? It's online. So go back to the advising package that we sent out to you last week. It's like on page, I don't know, page 5 or 6. It's about a page and a half. And it shares with you step by step how you're going to complete your VSS police record check as a Toronto resident. You're logging in first to a link, a system where you're going to provide information. You're going to upload documentation that's being asked. Then that documentation gets reviewed by the Faculty of Education Practicum office, who also confirms that you're enrolled and registered with the BED program. And then that form that they're signing off on, which is what you did when you came in person, not anymore. It's all online. That form will then be emailed to you, and then you will mail that into the Toronto Police Services.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Again, check your spam and junk mail because we're actually in the process of verifying all these VSS and sending them, and students are then responding to us saying we're not getting it. And as soon as they check their spam and junk mail, it's there. So please, please, please be vigilant and check. Thank you.
Thanks, Lindsay.
No messages in chat and no hands are up.
Awesome. Well, those of you that are enrolled in summer electives and you have a class that starts at 2:30, you can make it now. Okay, I want to thank you all so much for coming this afternoon. And as I shared at the very beginning, we know that lots of things are being planned. There's changes. One day we're thinking it's going to be one way, the next day it could be something else. So patience, we will do our best to reach out to you when we have something big to say. But right now we've got a date of June the 17th, 8 a.m. in the morning that you can enroll in your EDPRs. We'll reach out to you and let you know if the electives will be ready on that day too. And then we'll just keep you informed the best that we can. I want to thank Lindsay and Sue and to my team for joining me this afternoon. And have a beautiful afternoon, and we'll keep in touch. And again, I will send the recording this Friday to all our students. Have a good afternoon. Take care. Bye-bye.